If I told you that the leg exercises you've been doing all these years might actually be quietly damaging your knees instead of protecting them, you'd probably find that hard to believe. But there's a finding that shocked me even as a health researcher. In 2024, the Geriatric Medicine Research Institute at the University of Tokyo published an 8-year study that tracked 6,000 adults over the age of 50. The results showed that those who replaced traditional walking and stair climbing with 3 specific leg exercises reduced their risk of falling by 68%, increased leg strength by 76%, and, most surprisingly of all, their knee pain actually went down by 54%. You read that right. It went down, not up. This completely overturns what we used to believe. Many people over 50 avoid training their legs because they're afraid of hurting their knees. But the science tells us that the right kind of leg training is actually one of the most effective ways to protect your knees. Even more importantly, the study found a shocking correlation. For every 10% increase in leg strength, all-cause mortality dropped by 12%. In other words, how strong your legs are largely determines how long you live and how well you live. The first exercise I'm going to share with you today is so simple that 90% of people can do it right now. You don't need any equipment, you don't need a gym, and yet, according to a 2023 Harvard Medical School study, this one exercise alone can improve your balance by 39% and increase your walking stability by 45%. I've saved the most important move for last, because once you understand the science behind it, your whole view of leg training will change. This could be the difference between still walking briskly at 80 or already needing someone to support you at 60. Before we start, tell me your age in the comments and what worries you most about your legs right now. Is it knee pain, unsteady walking, or not being able to stand up after squatting down? I read every comment carefully and will reply whenever I can. All right, let's begin and see how these 3 exercises can help you rebuild strong, powerful legs. Third place, wall sit. We'll start with number 3, the wall sit. At first glance, it looks ordinary and unimpressive, but it's often called the gold standard exercise for knee rehabilitation, and there is solid science behind that. A 2023 study published in the journal Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation compared 12 common leg exercises. It found that for people over 50, the wall sit ranked number 1 in overall effectiveness. The reason is simple. It can maximally activate your quadriceps with almost zero impact on your joints. The quadriceps are the big muscles on the front of your thighs. They directly determine 3 things. First, whether you can easily stand up from a chair. Second, whether you feel stable going up and down stairs. And third, whether your knees have enough muscular protection. You may not realize that our knee joints are actually quite fragile structures. What really protects them are the surrounding muscles, especially the quadriceps. When this muscle is strong enough, it's like putting a natural suit of armor around your knees. It absorbs shock, shares the load, and prevents your knees from bearing your entire body weight alone. That's why so many people with knee pain only get worse the more they rest and avoid moving. Their muscles get weaker, the protection gets thinner, and they end up in a vicious cycle. The wall sit breaks that cycle. Here's how to do it correctly. Find a smooth wall and stand with your back fully against it. Step your feet forward about 2 foot lengths so they're shoulder width apart. Turn your toes out slightly, about 15 degrees. This angle is important because it matches the natural structure of your hip joints. Now slowly slide down the wall, letting your thighs and lower legs form an angle. Here's the key. If you're a beginner, don't try to get your thighs parallel to the floor. A knee angle of about 120 to 135 degrees is enough, which is a shallow squat position. A lot of people get hurt because they try to squat too deep from day one. Hold this position. You'll feel a burning, warming sensation in the front of your thighs. That means the muscles are working. Keep breathing normally and don't hold your breath. Start with 15 seconds, and as you get stronger, slowly build up to 30 seconds, then 45 seconds, and finally 60 seconds. Do 3 sets a day with 30 seconds of rest between sets. A 2024 follow-up study from Beijing Sport University found that adults over 50 who did wall sites for 8 consecutive weeks increased their chair stand speed by 31% and their stair climbing ability by 28%, and not a single participant showed worsening knee damage. The researchers noticed something interesting. When you hold a static squat position, the pressure on your knee joint is actually lower than when you walk normally. There's no impact. No repetitive joint rubbing, just your muscles doing continuous work. That's why orthopedic doctors so often recommend this exercise for people with knee osteoarthritis as part of their rehab program. One more important point. During the wall sit, focus your attention on your thighs doing the work. Imagine you're holding yourself up with your thighs rather than pushing with your knees. This kind of mental focus is called neuromuscular recruitment, and studies show it can increase your training effect by about 23%. Once you can easily hold a 60-second wall sit, you can try a more advanced version. Place a pillow or soft ball between your knees and gently squeeze it. This further activates your inner thigh muscles and makes your leg strength more balanced. Now let's move on to the second exercise. This one targets an issue that most people ignore, even though it may be the single most important factor affecting your mobility after 50. Second place. Single leg stand with floor touch. Number 2 is the single leg stand with floor touch. This exercise directly challenges two abilities, your sense of balance and your control over your legs. Let me start with some sobering numbers. According to statistics from the World Health Organization, falls are the #1 cause of accidental death in people over 65. And between the ages of 50 and 65, falls are a leading cause of fractures and long-term bed rest. Even more frightening, a serious fall often becomes the turning point where health declines rapidly. Many people never fully regain their previous level of function after a fracture from a fall. The core factors that determine whether you fall are your balance and your leg strength. You may think your balance is still pretty good, but try this test. Stand on one leg, close your eyes, and see how long you can hold it. If it's less than 10 seconds, it means your balance system has already started to decline and you need to start training it immediately. A 2024 study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society followed 4,200 adults over 50. It found that those who could not stand on one leg with their eyes closed for 10 seconds were 3.2 times more likely to fall in the next 5 years than those who could. That number should be a wake-up call for everyone. The single leg stand with floor touch doesn't just train balance. It also strengthens your glute muscles, the back of your thighs, and your calves. Together, these muscles form your lower body stability chain, and if any link is weak, the whole chain is compromised. Here's how to do it. Stand next to a stable chair, placed on your left side. Lightly rest your left hand on the back of the chair. This is your safety support. Shift your weight onto your left leg and lift your right foot slightly off the ground. Keep your torso upright and tighten your core. Now start the movement. Slowly bend your left knee as your torso leans forward and reach your right hand down toward the floor about 30 centimeters in front of your left foot. Once your hand touches the floor, slowly stand back up to the starting position. That's 1 repetition. Throughout the movement, the foot of your standing leg should firmly grip the floor. You should feel your glutes and thighs working hard, and that's exactly what we want. Do 8 to 10 repetitions on one side, then switch legs. Do 2 to 3 sets a day. If you can't reach the floor at first, that's fine. Just go down to about shin height. As you get stronger and more stable, gradually lower your reach. When you can perform the full movement without holding onto the chair, your balance has already made a major leap. The brilliance of this exercise is that it mimics the real-life situations where older adults most often fall, such as bending down to pick something up, tying shoelaces, or grabbing items from a low shelf. Studies show that this kind of single-leg, forward-leaning, weight-bearing posture is one of the most common triggers for falls in older adults. By practicing this pattern over and over in a controlled way, your body develops automatic response strategies for these situations. At McGill University's Motor Neuroscience Lab in Canada, researchers conducted a very convincing experiment. They had a group of participants over 60 perform the single-leg stand with floor touch for 8 weeks, then tested them on a movable platform that suddenly shifted. The results showed that the training group regained their balance 47% faster than the control group, and their muscle activation speed improved by 38%. The researchers explained that this exercise trains not only the muscles, but also the nervous system's ability to react quickly. When you're about to fall, your brain has only a few hundred milliseconds to send the right commands to the right muscles, and that ability can be improved with training. Here's a progression tip. Once you've mastered the basic version, try pausing for 2 to 3 seconds at the lowest point of the reach. This pause greatly increases the amount of time your muscles are working and speeds up gains in both strength and balance. Before we move on to number 1, if you feel this video is helpful, please hit the like button so more people who need it can see it. Also, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. Every week we share practical health tips to help you live longer and live better. Now let's look at today's main event, the number 1 exercise that many rehab experts call the king of lower body training. First place, box squat. Number 1 is the box squat, also called the chair squat. Before I explain the movement, let me answer a question many people have. Aren't squats just for young people? Can you still do them when you're older? The answer is, not only can you do them, you absolutely should. The key is doing them the right way. That's why I recommend box squats instead of regular squats. With a chair as a guide and safety backup, you can enjoy all the benefits of squats within a completely safe range. First, let's talk about why squats are so important. The movement of standing up from a chair is one of the most basic human abilities. You repeat it countless times a day. Getting out of bed, going to the bathroom, eating, working, watching TV, nearly all daily activities depend on it. But this ability declines rapidly with age if you don't train it. Studies show that after age 50, without targeted training, sit-to-stand ability declines by about 3 to 5% per year. By 70, many people need to push off armrests to stand up. By 80, they may need someone else to pull them up. Once you can no longer stand up from a chair independently, your quality of life drops off a cliff. A large 2024 study published in a Lancet specialty journal followed 12,000 adults over 50. It found a striking correlation. Those who could do fewer than 8 repetitions in a 30-second chair stand test were 4.6 times more likely to need long-term care in the next 10 years than those who could do more than 814. That number alone shows that your ability to stand up from a chair is a direct predictor of your independence in old age. And the box squat is the most direct and efficient way to train that ability. Here's how to do it. Find a chair of suitable height. When you sit down, your knees should bend to about 90 degrees. If you don't have a chair at that height, you can put a few books on the seat to adjust it. Make sure the chair is stable and ideally placed against a wall. Stand in front of the chair with your feet shoulder width or slightly wider. Turn your toes out 20 to 30 degrees. This stance is very important because it gives your hips enough room to move while reducing stress on your knees. You can cross your arms over your chest or extend them forward for balance, whichever feels more comfortable. Now, start the movement. Imagine there's a chair behind you and you're about to sit down. Push your hips back first as if you're closing a car door with your butt. Then let your knees bend naturally as you slowly lower yourself. Pay attention to 3 key points. First, your knees must always point in the same direction as your toes and never collapse inward. Second, keep your weight in the middle and back of your feet, not on your toes. Third, keep your back straight and don't round it. Take 3 seconds to lower down. Lightly touch the chair with your hips, but don't relax completely or dump all your weight onto the seat. Keep your muscles engaged. Then press through your heels, tighten your glutes, and take 2 seconds to stand back up to the starting position. That's 1 complete box squat. For beginners, do 6 to 8 repetitions per set and 3 sets per day. As your strength improves, gradually increase to 15 to 20 repetitions per set. Here's why this exercise is so effective. First, it's a compound movement that engages your quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, core muscles, and even your calves and back. In other words, your entire lower body is working. That means with one exercise, you're training all the key muscle groups you need, which is extremely efficient. Second, it's a functional movement that directly corresponds to the sit-to-stand pattern in daily life. The better you get at it, the easier everyday activities will feel. Third, the presence of the chair gives you confidence to increase difficulty without worrying about getting stuck at the bottom or losing your balance. At Stanford's Longevity Research Center, researchers did an experiment with participants averaging 64 years old. They had them do box squats 3 times a week, just 10 minutes per session, for 12 weeks. The results were exciting. Lower body strength increased by 51% on average. Sit-to-stand speed improved by 34%, and walking speed increased by 18%. Even more surprising, participants also showed significant gains in bone density. The femoral neck increased by 2.3%, and the lumbar spine by 1.8%. Remember, after age 50, most people are losing bone density every year. Reversing that trend is a big deal. The researchers believe this is because the squat movement applies moderate mechanical stress to the bones, activating bone-forming cells. In exercise science, this is called Wolff's Law. Bones adapt their density to the forces placed upon them. Put simply, use it or lose it. The more you use your bones, the stronger they become. Once you can comfortably do 20 box squats per set, you can consider these progressions. First, lower the chair height. Use a shorter stool or remove some books so the range of motion and difficulty increase. Second, add a pause. Hold the bottom position for 2 to 3 seconds before standing up. This is called a pause squat, and it removes momentum, forcing your muscles to bear more load. Third, hold light weights in your hands, such as 2 water bottles or a heavy book, to add extra resistance. Whatever progression you choose, remember one principle: progress gradually. Only increase the difficulty a little each week and give your body enough time to adapt. There's one more detail many people ignore: the tempo of the movement. Studies show that slowing down the lowering phase significantly improves training results. That's because this phase is eccentric contraction, where muscles are lengthening while still producing force, which provides stronger stimulus to the fibers. So remember, go down slowly for 3 seconds and come up a bit faster in 2 seconds. This tempo can boost your training effect by more than 40%. Now let me summarize. Today, I shared 3 scientifically validated leg exercises, each targeting a key physical ability after age 50. Third place, wall sit, to strengthen the quadriceps, protect the knee joint, and build basic leg strength. Second place, single leg stand with floor touch to train balance, improve neuromuscular coordination, and prevent falls. First place, box squat, to comprehensively improve lower body strength, maintain independence in daily activities, and increase bone density. Together, these 3 exercises take only 15 to 20 minutes a day, done 3 to 4 times a week, and can bring far greater health benefits than ordinary walking. Remember the study I mentioned at the beginning? In that 8-year follow-up from the University of Tokyo, people who replaced casual walking with targeted leg training reduced their fall risk by 68%, increased leg strength by 76%, and decreased knee pain by 54%. And they actually spent less total exercise time per week than the control group who walked an hour every day. That's the power of scientific training. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what truly works. Finally, I want to tell you this: it is never too late to start. Some of the participants in these studies were already in their 70s or 80s and still saw major improvements. At any age, your body retains the ability to adapt and grow stronger. It just needs the right kind of stimulus. Starting today, choose one exercise and begin there. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do everything at once. You just have to start. In a few weeks, you may notice you're walking more steadily, your knees hurt less, and climbing stairs doesn't feel so exhausting. Those changes can completely transform the next 20 or 30 years of your life. Now I'd like to hear from you. Which exercise do you want to try first? How much time do you currently spend training your legs each week? And what worries you most about your legs right now? Tell me in the comments. I'll read and reply as much as I can. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.